Writer's block is probably one of the worst creative blocks ever. But usually what I tend to do to distract myself from it is to, well, just play video games. Calming and soothing video games. Whether it be riding around my horse in Breath of the Wild or playing Star Fox 64. And that last one isn't very relaxing of a game. But without a doubt, one of my favorites to play is Yoshi's Island. Yoshi's Island, or as it's known over here, Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. Not really sure why they added the Super Mario World 2 part for the states and stuff, though it's most likely to try to cash in on some of the success of Super Mario World, but that's besides the point. This game is, well, it's not only a sequel to Super Mario World 1, but it's also a prequel to not only Super Mario World, but to the entire Mario series. Like, everything. You got the, this goes past it all, you know, past the drugs, you do drugs, you go to hell before you die, you know, that thing. Yeah, you guys remember that? I don't think anyone does, and this is me going off script, you know, this is what happens. Yeah, pretty weird how they have a prequel game where you don't even play as the Mario Bros, you know, what the series is based off of, but instead multiple Yoshis. I'll get to that a little later though, because I'm jumping ahead. You get Yoshi's, you get back in that corner right now. Hey, go. You're not, no, not now. But yeah, Super Mario World sold incredibly well, as to be expected, and while Shigeru Miyamoto was working on Super Mario World, he thought to make a Mario game where Yoshi would be the protagonist. Miyamoto wasn't much of a fan of the other Yoshi games, those being Yoshi's Cookie and Yoshi's Safari, and when he brought the game to the higher-ups at Nintendo, they turned down the idea for it having traditional Mario-like style graphics. Instead, they suggested that the game should take on more of a computer pre-rendered graphics look, like the Donkey Kong Country series of games. Miyamoto didn't take this very well, recalling that they wanted better hardware and more beautiful graphics instead of art. So with Miyamoto incest? Nah, it's definitely not incest, but incest? What? That's what it says on the Wikipedia. What does incest mean? That is a good question. What does incest mean?
Incensed.
Oh. Very angry, enraged.
Incensed.
Incensed. Oh. Okay, I see. Okay, but, like, to be fair, who uses that word anyway, except for, like, college professors in, like, law school or something? Like, no one uses
incensed.
I'm gonna just say he was kind of pissed off. So with Miyamoto a little pissed off, he made the game look a lot more cartoony and gave it a much more crayon-style look to it. You know, hand-drawn, stuff like that. And when he took the game back to the higher-ups at Nintendo, they accepted the redesign, and it paid off. This game looks absolutely incredible. Like, if I were to show you a screenshot of this game, you'd probably be like, oh, that's Yoshi's Island. You know, it's that distinguishable. You know, it's kind of like the first Super Mario Bros. Game look. You know, where even though that game was 8-bit, it still has that very distinct look to it. But yet, if you were to compare Super Mario Bros. 2 USA and 3's graphic style, I would see people getting a little confused between the two. But with this game, it's very distinct on what this game is. I mean, even today, compared to newer games, I mean, if I was to play this as a 9-year-old, you know, I would have thought this game was pretty solid and looked great. I mean, alongside other games I was playing at the time, like New Super Mario Bros. Wii and freaking Angry Birds. I don't know. You know, this surely wouldn't have been up there. You know, maybe top 3 under Angry Birds Star Wars. Who knows? But this game does still stick out, you know, in a very good way. That is, you know, Like I said, it gives it its own personality, and I think it does a fine job, especially for it being the last 2D Mario game before the jump into 3D with Super Mario 64 a few years later. Though part of this game style being able to look as good as it is, partly thanks to the Super FX chip. Now, what is the Super FX chip, you may be asking? Well... The Super FX chip was designed by Argonaut Games and is used to render 3D polygons to assist the Super Nintendo Entertainment System in rendering advanced 2D effects and graphics, which allowed games like Star Fox Stunt Race FX capable to achieve somewhat 3D graphics and textures and models. But later on, they revised the Super FX chip and became Super FX Graphics Support Unit, which allowed for a bit more graphics and textures than the original did, and it was used in such games as Doom, Yoshi's Island, and at the time, the unreleased Star Fox 2. But yeah, I mean... This game, it looks great and has a wonderful sense of immersion, and that just like pulls you right into the environment and setting of the world, changing with every other world that you visit and the music fitting the setting that you are in. I should probably mention the quote-unquote story before I start giving this game any more praise and just skip everything else and make like a 40-minute long video about the graphics, but yeah. Well, I mean, for one, I could kind of take back the quotations. Well, for one, the story, is a bit different. I could say that at least that much. It opens up with a stork carrying 2 babies to be delivered to their new parents. A wizard that goes by the name of Kamek comes and tries to steal the babies away from the stork, but only being able to grab one, with the other one falling thousands of feet out of the sky. Yep, that baby's dead. But with an extreme amount of luck and bullshit, this baby happens to land on a wandering Yoshi, and in which we find out that those 2 babies were actually the Mario brothers. And wait, why did Kamek try to kidnap baby Mario and Luigi? In the instruction booklet, it says that Kamek discovers that, and I quote, "Twin babies born this morning will bring disaster to the Koopa family." But we never find out how he discovered this. For all we know, Kamek could have just been like, "Fuck it, I'ma steal some babies." So after Yoshi takes baby Mario back to the pack of other Yoshis, Mario and Luigi's brotherly connection powers, I guess, kicks in, and Mario is soon able to sense where Luigi is. So with the Yoshis having nothing, honestly, else better to do, decide to take Mario to Luigi and defeat Kamek and Baby Bowser. So yeah, pretty normal stuff for the Mario Bros. Games, or just Mario games in general, but I thought, personally myself, I thought it was kind of cool to see the Mario Brothers backstory, even though it's not super drawn out in like a 50-page essay or whatever, but I don't know, I thought it was kind of cool to see where they came from, even though it was from a stork or whatever, or how they met Bowser, meet Bowser, I guess, but, I thought it was cool. Anyways, gameplay. The controls and whatnot for this game are silky smooth. Like, if Super Mario World's gameplay was tight, then this is, like, supreme tight. Like Yoshi's Island's gameplay is like superb. It's superb. It's superb. Yeah, it's superb. It's like a what's really fancy food? Chick-fil-A nuggets with a side of waffle fries. Yep, that is a good analogy, me. Don't like that analogy, then you can just get the darn tune out of my video. You can leave. There's the exit button right there. You can just click. Bye. Please don't leave. Please, I beg. Actually, don't. Please, no. But along with some new buttery controls, Yoshi has also got some new moves. Stealing from Luigi from Super Mario Bros. 2 USA, Yoshi now has the flutter jump, which actually helps and has been a savior many times. And Yoshi has also can't aim his tongue. That is how I wrote it in the script. I am a smart 16-year-old. I know grammar. I know words. I know English. It's my only language. yes, and I failed. I messed up. How? How did I mess up this bad? How? What I was trying to say is that Yoshi can aim his tongue in a couple directions to try to grab enemies. Also, Yoshi can still eat enemies and poop it out, but instead of the egg cracking in it being a mushroom or whatever, it's an egg in which you can use as a projectile at other enemies. There are different types of colored / sized eggs Yoshi can get. For one, you can get a giant sized egg, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's giant sized. And then there's some colored ones. There's about 3, and they don't really do much except for the red one, which if you hit an enemy with it, it gives you 2 stars. And I will explain what those 2 stars do in a little bit. You can also use this ability to aim in a couple directions too, and do some trick shots to try to get some coins that were in a hard to reach spot. But all of this is used to defend a monster of a challenge. Do you see that little thing on Yoshi's back? Yeah, that's Baby Mario, and when Yoshi gets hit... Baby Mario has got to be hands down one of the hardest things to keep track of in this game. Like, once he gets hit, he just floats around in this little bubble and just cries. Just crying and crying and crying. Yeah. Of course, there are things to make it easier to hold on or keep track of Baby Mario. Like, you're given a timer in which starts at 10 seconds, and when you go through the sparkly rings, which also acts as a checkpoint, the timer will fill up more, so that way you have a better chance of not losing. Your timer can be filled to the max of 30 seconds. But there are a few other ways to fill out the timer too. Like getting these little star bits and getting these big flowers also can fill up your timer. But mainly all that adds up to is just getting a 100% completion on levels. And again, I didn't try to beat this game 100% because, as Some Call Me Johnny says,
perfect score isn't needed to reach the end. There's no additional ending you unlock. It's just something you do when you hate yourself.
And I do hate myself, but I still didn't want to do it. There are secret areas you can go into and get special bonuses in which you can find Poochie. Poochie is probably one of the most brain dead. From the outside, Poochie looks like one of those cute cartoony dogs that are super useful on the outside though, and help you get those really secrets while also being like adorable. But the thing is that Poochie is actually dumb. He's like so dumb. He's as dumb as a pile of leaves that just blow through the air, blow through the wind. You have to stand on him and direct him in certain directions by facing the way you want to go. But it's not perfect and can be irritating and maybe infuriating. Maybe all of them. I do love Poochie's design though. It's super adorable. I mean, I even have the yarn amiibo plush thingy of him, and it's so cute. It's so cute. He has this look to him that it's like, oh my gosh, he's so cute. And on the inside, his brain is just comprised of rocks. But besides trying to keep track of Baby Mario like a 13-year-old babysitter, there are little power-ups Yoshi can use, like being able to break all his bones down to transform into a helicopter, a mole tank, a submarine, and a few others. Yoshi is also able to eat watermelons. And everyone, just a little word of advice or hint or whatever, just take my advice. Start ducking for cover because Yoshi is packing heat. Get down! This game, though, doesn't really have a lot of Mario game standards in it. No question blocks, rarely any familiar enemies, no mushrooms, fire flower, not even the Cape Feather! The Cape Feather! Well, I mean, it's not entirely gone. In certain levels, Yoshi can find this little superstar bouncing around. Touching it transforms Yoshi into an egg and gives Baby Mario the cape power. Kinda. Super speed and the ability to glide. This doesn't last forever though. It's very similar to the Superstar in which that there's a time limit for the amount of time you can use it, and once it's up, you go back to Yoshi. But really, what the star power up does is it gives Baby Mario to traverse things fast. That's the best I can explain it, really. You don't really have the normal glide feature how it was in Super Mario World. You have a kind of a Knuckles from Sonic 3 Knuckles glide, kind of like where you, like once you jump off that thing, you just go down, you know, kind of thing. You can't gain air again or whatever. At least I don't think you could. I don't know, maybe. Don't take my word on it. Yet Yoshi's Island may have gotten rid of most of the stuff that was in the previous game. It still has given us, without a doubt, some of the best looking levels in a Mario game ever. I'm gonna be jumping back on the "this game looks great" train, but I mean, come on, look at it. Just look at it. These are some of the most prettiest things I've ever seen in a game, even on the Super Nintendo. Like, just the colors, they're so pretty. I think some of my favorite worlds have to be the earlier stages. They just start off very beginner friendly and have a cool, you know what, the winter levels are probably my favorite. But Austin, did you just say that? I like them all, okay? Like, you know, all these levels, you know, there's so much, you know, there's so many likable things about them, but I'm just a sucker for winter levels. I mean, they are some of my favorites in really any video game in general, you know. From a gameplay standpoint, not all of them are so great, though. Levels can be overly long or just some real ball busters sometimes, but there is a good balance along with some fun ideas every once in a while. Like later on in level 3 of World 5, Yoshi's able to ski down the mountain, and if you trip over a rock, you just roll up into a snowball, and it's kind of a cheeky little gag that I like quite a bit. The game is shorter than Super Mario World, with this only having about 6 worlds total, but it still packs a lot in terms of content and level variety and all that good stuff. The boss fights are really fun and creative too. Like, Kamek just swings by and transforms some of these normal enemies into some huge beasts. Like, there were a lot of ones I liked, but I think one of the most funniest and memorable, that is for me, was the boss fight against a huge frog. Like, you go inside the stomach of a frog, you know, and when that boss fight gets done, you know, Yoshi comes back out and he looks like he just went through like Vietnam, D-Day or something. But after you travel through all the worlds with this whiny little piece of comes Baby Bowser's Castle, and I've heard that this is a really good boss fight and honestly the best part of the game. So let's see what. Why do I even bother? Baby Bowser's first phase, when you get to him, it's absolutely pathetic. It's pitiful. But like, you get to the second phase, and the company music, you know, I've already said hands down, feet down is the best part of this game. It's so cool. But like, seriously though, this song is just the symphony of my nightmares. Like, it's what I hear. It works. It make me scared. It give me big scared. But it's so cool just seeing Bowser rise up into the distance with like rubble just falling around you. Yoshi looking off into the distance. It's just so good, dude. It's like, honestly. But how this boss fight goes is that Baby Bowser targets onto you and shoots fireballs at you, with you having to grab some giant eggs that occasionally float in on these balloons and throw it back at him to prevent him from getting closer. It's cool, okay? I've said that like 9 times, but it's cool. It's cool. Alright? Though, all good things must come to an end. And once the boss fight is over, you've rescued Baby Luigi and the stork. You send both of the brothers off to get delivered to their parents, and everything turns out okay. And no way that this could be messed up at all. Oh, come in. Hey, what's up? What? What do you mean those were the wrong parents? How dumb is this bird? What? How? And everything turned out okay. Yoshi's Island is a super amazing game, and this is not the first time I've said it. I've said it like 20,000 times throughout this whole review, you know, but I say what I mean, and this is a great game on the SNES, and just a great game in general. It still holds up today, you know, besides the fact that it was made by the creators of Super Mario 1, 2, 3, and World. It's absolutely fantastic, and I'd give it a try if you ever see a copy out in the wild, or you got the SNES Classic or whatever. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry there's just, you know, with these types of videos, I have a lot of stuff I like to point out and stuff, so I might skip some details. I know I didn't really go into description about a lot of the boss fights or levels and whatnot, but, you know, you know, I'm bad at explaining things, but I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you didn't, well, I'm sorry.